Comic Book Savant, Binge at Your Leisure, TV Talk. Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant podcast. I'm your host, James Harris. We're back here doing another Binge at Your Leisure TV Talk, but this is for WandaVision, episode 9. We're finally here, y'all, at the season finale, or the series finale. Who knows? Kevin Feige saying some stuff got me tripping right now. But, it may be another season, maybe. Who knows? But we're not going to focus on that right now because so much happened in this episode. It was kind of like crazy. I remember last episode I was saying, we were going to get this showdown. Agatha versus Wanda, Vision versus White Vision or Evil Vision or Vision. Double Vision. I like that one. Double Vision. We're going to go with the Double Vision. So much happened in this episode, so I'm going to try my best to break it down and not take all day to do it. First, we did find out that the book that we saw back episode 7 was the Darkhold. Now, do we know if it's the Darkhold from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or not? I don't know. It looks different because the one in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. literally had Darkhold written on the cover of the book. This has a whole design and it's something different, so I'm assuming this is Feige's take on it, and it doesn't have the same origins that the Darkhold had in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., my assumption. Who knows, though? We get the reveal that Evan Peters is just Ralph Boner at that. So he was the husband, or better yet, the Ralph that Agatha kept referring to throughout the whole series, which is what I said. I felt like off jump that we weren't gonna get this theory that everybody was throwing out on the internet that he was gonna be Pietro from the Fox Cinematic Universe and all that kind of stuff. It was a stunt casting, well played, but I figured as much that's what it was gonna be. That's all it was, no more, no less. So that debunked so many rumors and so much speculation that had gone out around the show, which I'm going to talk about. I'm going to do another episode because I'm not going to focus on it now, but I'm going to do a season 1 or series wrap up of the whole season of WandaVision in another episode where we can get into all of theories and expectations people had that the show didn't set up, but they just imposed on the show. It's a bunch of stuff going on with that, but that's going to be for a whole separate episode in itself. Back to the episode. So we see Wanda make her full transformation and accept her destiny that we now know from last episode. She had a vision when she connected and was exposed to the Mind Stone. It revealed to her that she was going to be the Scarlet Witch all along. So she knew her fate and her destiny all along. She didn't need Agatha to tell her she was the Scarlet Witch. She might have didn't know what the Scarlet Witch was, but she had a vision of herself than what we got here way back then. I guess she just didn't know how to accept it and or interpret it at that time. But now with everything happening the way it has and has transpired, that's what she saw all those years ago when she was first exposed to the Mind Stone, which is freaking awesome how they tied that in, which is so cool. And that outfit is amazing. It's so like different vibes from the different takes on her outfit from the comic, but it just looks so good. Like they nailed that on the first go round. Like certain times, like Black Widow's outfit evolved, Stark's armor is constantly evolving. They nailed pretty much my favorite Captain America outfit is basically the Winter Soldier, the one from the beginning of the Winter Soldier. That's my favorite kind of outfit. For Cap, they nailed it with certain characters for sure, but they really got it right with her in the first go around. But I digress. We get a chance to see Monica manifest all her powers, and it appears from what we saw with the end credits, one of the 2 end credit scenes we have, that she's gonna be in Secret Invasion, the television show that they recently announced a few months back, with Telos and Nick Fury, but I don't know if that comes before or after Captain Marvel 2. I know they're ramping up production on Captain Marvel 2. We only know at this point that Mickelson is back as Telos, and and Sam Jackson's going to be back for Nick Fury for Secret Invasion. That's all we kind of know about it at this point. But either way, we already know that that Tiana Paris has already been announced to be in Captain Marvel 2. Now it's setting up that she's going to be in Secret Invasion as well. So she's going to play a big part in things to come in the future of the MCU, and I can't wait, because she had been such a revelation for me, being put on to her as an actress, and just her in that role. I just love that character so far. It's like I'm vibing right now with that. So I don't know the release dates of which one might come first, but she'll probably be in both places for sure at this point with that end credit scene. The fight between the two, from the fight between Double Vision, was good and unique from others we've seen in the MCU to date, because of just their power set and them using their powers in different ways to offset and check one another was really cool to see. But the CGI quality in the fight in this episode overall was a little bit too much for the budget to bear, because it was so many effects heavy shots throughout this episode, between the Double Vision fight, the Wanda and Agatha fight going through. It was so many effect shots, and at times it looked a little wonky at places and not as tight as it had been in other episodes. But if you had a full movie budget, this would have ate up a lot of the budget, which this episode seemed like it ate up a lot of the budget, because the effect shots have been consistent, excuse me, but on scale they were way smaller, just to Wanda's hands, or a little magic here and there, or a Vision transforming from human form to Vision form, where this was just from beginning to end, CGI shot after another, bam, 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 and it definitely went a little wonky, but you can understand why, with the overall just enormous amount of CGI shots peppered throughout the whole episode from beginning to end. It was a disappointment for me that we only saw Dorsey in the one scene in this episode towards the very end, where she traps Hayward in the car, where she ramps the car to trap him in the cars, and said, hope you have fun in jail line. She kind of disappeared down the stretch of the show, and I felt like the way she was introduced was so strong, and they really forgot about her as a character as the series went on, which was sad to see. But I hope we see more of her in some of the shows in the future, and they continue the strong thread that she could be that Eric Zellweger, kind of liaison that we might see maybe in the Captain Marvel movies, or even better yet in the Secret Invasion movie, or is she going to be in Thor Love and Thunder maybe, but I hope we see her character again. And I like that combination, like I said in previous episodes, of her, Jimmy, and Monica together. I love that trio, so I hope they do more with them somewhere down the road. Monica was also sidelined through most of the episode, but had a great scene where we saw her powers on full display, and that, coupled with the end credit scene hinting that we might see her again down the road, is all I want to see. Got to get more of what, and it'd be cool to see next time we see her, she fully embraces her powers, and she already has. Is she going to be Photon? Is she going to be Spectrum? Just how they exhibited her powers in this show, I don't think she might go with Photon at first, but they kind of set it up that was, since it was her mom's call sign, that she'll probably be Photon. But just kind of how she exhibited her powers, I would feel like Spectrum is the name of the many that she's had in the comics that she would go with. But they've already set up, just through Easter eggs and different things like that she's probably going to be called Photon, and that the sword, that sword outfit looks a lot like some of the later iterations of the character. Just take the sword symbol off the middle part of the chest, and it's pretty much her outfit, even down to the color. Just give her a trench coat, because I think in the versions I saw of the more recent version, she kind of had a trench coat thing going on over it. That's the outfit, so I'm assuming that it'll be a modified version of that, which I'm down for. Um, uh, like I said, we do know from Kevin Feige that WandaVision was the first part of a bigger story that's going to play out between starting in here in WandaVision to play out in Spider-Man No Way Home, and then to conclude in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's further reiterated by the final end credit scene, which I want to talk about in a moment with Wanda. Um, Visions during the double vision fight, Wanda's vision restores the memory of White Vision, and he ends by saying, "I am Vision," and he takes off not to be seen. So we don't know what the state of Vision is, but we do know we have a version of Vision. How complete that version of Vision is, that's a tongue twister. We is remain to be seen, and we don't know at this point because Wanda's vision did not tell Wanda what he did with White Vision, so she doesn't know that it's a vision going around. And he has his memories back. Does he have his emotion back? I don't know, and we won't know till he pops up somewhere in the MCU. But he's a piece that's on the board that we're gonna put to the side for right now because we got no end credit scene with him, which kind of would have been cool if we got like an end credit scene to kind of set up where we might see him next. But we do know he's out there. At the end of the fight, we see Agatha is left in prison in Westview, stuck in that nosy neighbor role that she liked so much, that she was acting up so heavily throughout the series. She gets stuck in that role now, and we do know she's there, but she hints that she says to Wanda, "You don't know what you've unleashed when you accepted the role as the Scarlet Witch, and you're going to need me for the times to come." So I'm assuming maybe, I don't know if we'll see her in Spider-Man No Way Home, but definitely Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we're going to probably see Agatha pop up there. I hope so, because I really love Catherine Hahn in the role. So I'm assuming that it's the setup that she'll be put back on the board at this point. But you know what? Come to think about it, we might see her in Spider-Man No Way Home, because I just thought about this with Agatha. She has ties to the Fantastic Four, and I think she even debuted in their comic as a nanny for Franklin, and the director of the Spider-Man movies is already tapped to direct the Fantastic Four movie, so it wouldn't be a far stretch if they potentially open up Catherine Hahn to appear in a scene, maybe in Spider-Man No Way Home, setting up maybe something down the road with her for the Fantastic Four. That is just a speculation on my part. Take it with a grain of salt. No one's told me anything. I do know that director is directing the Fantastic Four movie. I do know that much. That's already been announced. That's been put out there. So I'm just thinking there. To spitballing doesn't mean anything at this point. Overall, I feel like I have to say this is a first showing for Disney Plus Marvel shows to kind of give us a vibe on what they might be going forward. I mean, we have a ton of them coming over the next few years. I feel like it was a good first step. I think at times it lost some focus along the way, especially with characters progression. Like I said, with Darcy, I think Monica was the most prominent out of the trio of Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy, but I feel like Darcy got the most shortchanged, but she's had more screen time than the other ones because she was in Thor the Dark World. So maybe that's why, and she'll be picked, but they can pick up these threads with these shows and the movies, these different threads with these different characters. But I felt like with the supporting characters, they lost focus along the way because they presented them so prominently early in the series, and some became afterthoughts as the show progressed. But they had so much to do in such a short amount of time with the 9 episodes, and keeping with a relatively short episode length of like a half an hour. They did a really good job getting through so much story. We get every theory or question we might have had answered the way we wanted it answered? No. but it leaves room through different. If we do a season 2 of WandaVision, which you know Feige kind of hinted that he's open to, and he might come back, but we have to see where everything else goes through the next two movies where this multiverse saga will play out. So time will tell on all of that. I'm down. I think that you sold me. I am so glad we don't have too long to wait. They give us a week break, and I think they're going to do a making of WandaVision featurette that'll be cool to check out. And then that following week, we jump right into our next show, which is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I will be doing similar binge at your leisure TV talk episodes on that show. We don't know what the format's going to be. Weekly release as well. I don't know if they're going to be half an hour episodes or longer hour episodes. We don't know. I haven't seen or heard anything about it yet. We probably get more of that information in the week or so to come before that takes off on the 18th, the weekend of the 18th of March. So we have a little while to go. So it's an exciting time because they already have the next few shows lined up. We're going to have Falcon and Winter Soldier, a similar break, a slightly longer break, maybe 2-week break between episodes, because I think we get into May, and then that's when Black Widow is supposed to come out. So I think it's like a 2-week break or something like that. Then we go right into Loki. So these shows are going to be coming hard and heavy all year long, with like a little break in between or a week or so. And then we still have 4 movies on tap this year for the MCU. So it's a lot of, we had a whole break of time off of a year with no MCU. Now we're about to be bombarded with it. So just, take a deep breath like I am, hold your hat, and suck it up, Buttercup, and we're gonna roll with it. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna cover it all. You'll get the episode spaced out, so you're not, that's all I'm talking about on the podcast. So it's gonna be purposely spaced out, just for that reason, so you don't get fatigued with, man, is he ever going to stop talking about the MCU? But you guys said this is what you wanted. We just didn't know that a pandemic was going to happen, and these shows were going to be because they were supposed to be spaced out, way with bigger gaps in between, and we don't have that luxury anymore. So they're coming in hot and heavy, and I think I'm game for it. I think I'm game, but I hope it doesn't cause fatigue at some point. Oh, forgot my ratings for the episode. So let me break that down before I let you guys go. Acting, I say, is a 10 out of 10 for this episode. Casting, 10 out of 10. Direction in this episode, I say 8 out of 10. Special effects, like I talked about, took a little dip in this because there's so many effect shots. 8 out of 10. Story, I give a 7 out of 10. Overall, 8.5 out of 10. I felt like they stuck the landing. End credit scene. Second end credit scene with Wanda. Love that. Definitely hints that something major is coming up. And did you guys check that she was kind of in that astral form, kind of like Doctor Strange? And then Agatha did make that comment that the Scarlet Witch is even more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. So is that setting up Wanda to be the villain in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? We hear that scream of the boy screaming out to Wanda, asking for help, and she takes off with the quickness. So what in the heck is about to happen now? We got to wait to see, but I'm definitely game for it. And I just want to say this, and don't judge me. I love Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch. I love me some Wanda Maximoff. One of my favorite characters. I've always loved her and Vision's story, going way back as a kid, reading the West Coast Avengers, West Coast Avengers and Avengers West Coast comics. I grew up on that stuff. Early mid 80s, that was my jam. That's why I love Hawkeye so much. Those were the characters that broke out and went to West. Tigra, what was the original team? Tigra, Wonder Man, I think. Ant-Man, I think, was there for a little bit. Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Scarlet Witch and Vision. And a lot of this stuff, these stories are based on that time period of that mid 80s in the West Coast Avengers stuff. So I'm loving it, man. It's taking me back to my childhood. It gives me it's pulling at my heartstrings right there, my comic book heartstrings. So that's all I have for you guys for this episode. I hope you enjoyed WandaVision as much as I do. I feel like I said overall, it was solid. I felt like it stuck the landing. Not exactly everything I expected, but I had no expectations going in. I told myself I was just going to enjoy the ride and see where it led. So most of my questions got answered, but then I got more questions, opened up for me just as it played out. So definitely am looking so forward to the next show, and what's to come in this multiverse saga that we're going to get. But that's all I have for you guys in this episode. I hope everyone's staying safe out there. Until next time, you guys stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.